Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. And in today's episode, actually the first episode, I'm going to talk about the puzzle of suicide. By the way, have you ever asked yourself why we as humans evolved to commit suicide? Okay, suicide has most commonly been viewed from a mental health point of view. You see, when you talk about depression, helplessness, feelings of helplessness, stress. See, all these are valid factors, but how did we evolve as humans to commit suicide compared to other species of animals? Yes, you could claim that we are sentient beings. That's why it's rare for a cow to commit suicide. It's rare you hear that a cow has committed suicide, but it's much more common to hear that a human has committed suicide. Sentience plays a role, but I want to look at it from an evolutionary point of view. What really drives us as humans to commit suicide? Actually, upon my research, I've come around two theories that try to explain this phenomena. This quite an abnormal phenomena. Yes, I'm calling suicide an abnormal phenomena because based on evolution, survival is critical for reproduction. So why would someone take his or her own life, yet survival is paramount? You see, that is going against the basic tenets of evolution. Yes, back to the theories. There are two theories. One is the evolutionary theory of suicide and the maladaptive theory of suicide. So I'll begin with the evolutionary theory of suicide. Evolutionary theory of suicide was developed by evolutionary psychologist Denis de Catanzaro. In his publish, Denis argued that we as humans evolved to commit suicide as a form of an adaptation. Why would I call this an adaptation? An adaptation is something that will encourage or enable us to prosper in a given environment. But suicide is a form of elimination, yes. But how can we view this differently? So, according to him, when a person commits suicide, he is preserving or enabling his inclusive fitness. And when I talk about inclusive fitness, I don't mean like how physically strong or fit you are or your physical capabilities. Inclusive fitness mainly focuses on your genetic propagation. By genetic propagation, I mean whether you are around or not, you ensure that your genetic makeup prospers. That could be maybe in your brothers, sisters, cousins. You see, these are your relatives. These are people that you share genetic makeup with. So you'll come to see how when a person commits suicide, it relates to the propagation of his genetic makeup, in which it's called inclusive fitness. What pushes someone to commit suicide? How did you evolve to commit suicide? So according to this theory, we are more prompted to commit suicide when we have feelings of failure, chronic infirmity, and by infirmity, I mean that is weakness, mental or physical weakness, failure or disgrace. You see, once you fail, it can highly mess up with your willingness to live and feelings of burdensomeness, poor future health. You see, these are some of the factors. And you'll notice that once a person feels like they're a burden to his skin, logically it will be wise to commit suicide so that the other relatives will get a chance to survive. For instance, let's talk about poor health. You are in a family setup, and you get diagnosed with fourth stage cancer. You see, in such a case, the family will expend more resources trying to treat you, and this will be putting them at a disadvantage. These resources could be used for other important activities. The family will use more resources trying to save your life, in which it will end up affecting their own survival. Other than that, you'll again get to see that Catanzaro also proposes that someone is more likely to commit suicide due to failure in making or having successful heterosexual relationship in the dating market. The main idea of evolution basically was to reproduce. So you'll get that when a person fails to have successful heterosexual relationship, it will be reasonable enough for them to commit suicide, as there will be no purpose that will enable them, will be pushing them to continue their survival. Other than that, you'll again notice that suicide is a premeditated event or activity. It doesn't happen by accident. So there is careful planning, organization, and finally execution. You'll again notice that Catanzaro also talks about the sex differences that come with suicide. Looking at it from the last point I made about the failure in having successful heterosexual relationship, you notice that men have the highest probability of committing suicide compared to women. Why is that so? Okay, let's dive into it. In evolution, you get that men are more prone to failure when it comes to reproduction compared to women. And this is mostly experienced during the years of intense sexual competition and later on in life. For the years of intense sexual competition, they usually ranges from 15 to 35 years of age. At this point, most men are sexually mature and they enter into the competition market. And in this market, you'll find that it's not friendly at all. The competition is high, the fight for resources, compared to women who are born with the inherent value. You see, women decide when and how mating will take place, but men have to do the courting, and they have a higher failing rate compared to women. So you'll get that during these ages, a man might decide to commit suicide after he becomes unsuccessful in the dating market compared to a woman in the same age. During the mid 20s, men are more likely as compared to women, commit suicide. And during these moments of intensive sexual competition, we've noticed that men have a higher failure rate, which might prompt them to commit suicide. So that's what Catanzaro tried to explain us, how we evolved to develop this self-destruct prompt. Now, let's jump to Gadsad. Gadsad viewed suicide as a maladaptive behavior. You see, while De Catanzaro viewed suicide as an adaptation, Gadsad viewed it as an maladaptation. Let's see the difference. According to Gadsad, suicide is a maladaptive response to sex-linked defeats in evolutionary relevant domains. According to his hypothesis, men are more likely to commit suicide after a loss in status or job, and women are more likely to commit suicide after a romantic breakup. So, looking at it this way, this is a maladaptive behavior when you approach it from an evolutionary point of view, whereby survival is key for reproduction. So the maladaptiveness comes about due to the temporary nature of the circumstances that lead to someone committing suicide. For instance, job loss can be fixed with time. With perseverance, a man who has lost his job and patience can still get it in the near future. Same with romantic breakups. A woman who has lost a partner can get another partner in the future. So taking yourself entirely out of the game, out of the reproductive game for temporary challenges is quite maladaptive. So these two theories, the evolutionary theory of suicide and the maladaptive theory of suicide, have tried to explain reasons as to why we humans commit suicide. So that's it for today, and kindly click the like, subscribe, share button as we walk into this journey. Thank you.